Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky, and those of you joining us online. We love and appreciate each and every one of you, and we really appreciate your likes, your loves, your feedback, and when you share this video out to your friends and family. Tonight, being that we are coming to a close in the wonderful and amazing magical nights of Hanukkah, for those that celebrate Hanukkah, I wanted to mention a little bit of a story that kind of ties in with that a bit. Whether you celebrate Hanukkah or not, we can learn so much from each other's religions in so many different ways, and this is a really special story that I think might enlighten some things for you to think about within your own life today. So, and throughout this week. So I'll share the story, and then I'm going to share some thoughts for you to ponder about it. This was a story that I actually heard from Shani Weidengarten of the Chabad Center of Eastern Michigan, and it really kind of spoke to my heart a little bit. There were so many things I felt I was taking from this story as lessons, and it's just amazing. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It's a story about a man that he had lost his entire family during the Holocaust. He had lost his parents, everybody around him, everybody that he held close. He was the only survivor. And he was able to make it to America, and when he came here, he had changed his name to Aaron Green, quite different from what the original name would have been. And he made a life for himself. He pulled together what he needed to pull together within himself, found the strength that he needed to find within himself and through the light. And when he was here, he ended up falling in love with a beautiful and amazing, wonderful Jewish woman. And then he ended up creating a family of his own, and they had some children. And when one of his sons became 13 years old, he decided that he wanted to do something really special for his son. He wanted his son to just pick something that would be like whatever his son wanted the most for the bar mitzvah. He said, I want to take you to the mall, and I want you to figure out whatever it is that you want, whatever your heart's desire, that's the thing that I'm going to buy for you. And so they went to the mall, and they were looking around at a lot of different things, walking through the different stores, and then they went into an electronics store, and as they were looking at all the different electronics things, something caught his son's eye, and his heart started to beat a little bit faster. Excitement started to build within him, only he wasn't looking at something in the electronics store. He was looking through the doors of the electronics store to the antique store that was across the way. Something in the antique center just sparked a light within him, and he knew that he had to have it. He was so excited, so he told his father, I found what I want, and I want to go to the antique store. And his father looked at him and said, you want to go where? You can have anything you want in this whole mall, and we're in the electronics store right now. Don't you see something here? He said, no, Papa, I want to see something. I see something. I have to have it. It's in the antique store. So they go across to the antique store, and the child begins to walk a little faster as he gets closer to the object that has just sparked this within him. And he sees this beautiful old wooden menorah, very old, simple and beautiful wooden menorah. And he tells his father, this is what I need to have. And his father says, seriously? Are you sure? That's of anything? And he said, yes, that's what I want. So he talked to the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper said, oh, I'm sorry, that's not for sale. And so then the father was a little upset, like, what do you mean? This is a store. This is in your store. This should be for sale. And the son really wanted it, so he offered a price, and the shopkeeper said no, and he offered a higher price, and the shopkeeper said no again. And he said, this is going to be a collector's item. This was a menorah that belonged to a family that the entire family was killed in the Holocaust, and there were no surviving members, and I know this is going to be a collector's item someday, so I'm not going to sell it yet. And he offered another price, and the shopkeeper said no, and they had to go home. And the boy still wanted that. That's the only thing he wanted. He kept thinking about it. He just kept wanting it. It spoke to his heart. And so they went back again to the antique store, and they talked to the antique dealer again and offered him a much higher price. And he still said no. And he said no a couple more times. And finally he reached a price where the antique dealer said, okay, I guess I'll sell it for that. So he sold it, and they took it home, and every single day this young boy played with the menorah, and he was upstairs in his room. Every single day after school, he would go up there and he would just play with it over and over for months. Every single day for months, he kept playing with it. And then one day, he had come home from school and was playing with it, and his mother was cooking dinner downstairs, and they heard a crashing sound upstairs, a very loud crashing sound. So the mother and the father both ran upstairs to see if he was okay and what happened. And the menorah had fallen and broke. And the father was really angry, and he said, What happened? Why did you do this? Do you know how much money I paid for this? How could you be so irresponsible? What did you do? And the father went downstairs to kind of cool off and calm down a little bit. And after a minute, he went back upstairs and he realized, he felt really bad. He knows this menorah meant a lot to his son. And of course, he didn't break it on purpose because he loved it so much. And so he thought he would go upstairs and help him try to put the pieces together and reassemble it again. And as they were picking up the pieces together, he noticed in one of the parts that had broken on the menorah, there was a small rolled up piece of paper within it. So he thought, that's interesting. So he pulled the piece of paper out and he read the note, and he started having tears rolling down his face. And then he actually fainted after he read a little bit more. So his family gathered around and started spritzing water on his face, like, what's going on? Wake up. And the water splashing on his face woke him up. And they said, what happened, Father? Why did you faint? And he said, this note. And so he ended up reading the note to them. And it was something along the lines of, I don't know if this will have the opportunity I don't know if I will ever have the opportunity to light this menorah. The war is getting really bad. But if this has the opportunity and the great fortune to reach your hands, please light this menorah for yourself and light it for me and light it for all of our families. And then he read down to the name of the man who wrote and signed this note, and he saw that it was his father's name. And there are so many different lessons that we can learn from this. You can look into so many different ways you can see lessons. Trusting yourself, passing the light to others, so many, many, many different things. But one of the things that I want to focus on tonight and have you ponder a little bit is that sometimes we have to break things in our lives in order to find the light. We have to crack through the darkness to be able to have the light fill us and to be able to reach the fullness of capacity of the light expanding within us. Sometimes we don't have the ability to see and feel and reach those great things unless we go through the experience of having it break. This happens in so many different ways. If you take a moment within yourself to look back, can you think in your own life and looking back at some point in your life where there was something that seemed so tragic and so hurtful and so painful at the time that you didn't know why it happened? And you might have felt like you were in that energy for quite a while, trying to figure out how to put the pieces back together for yourself. And why could this have happened? And what could have been the reason for it? And what's the meaning behind all of this? And will I be able to pick myself up? But now, after time has passed, you can look back at that period of your life and you realize, now I see. Now I know why that happened. Now I understand why this happened so that that could happen. And that is so much better. And my life is better because that happened. Or I found my strength because of it. Or I got a new relationship because of it. Or whatever the thing was. It might be that you can look back and you see that there was a job loss or a career loss that you experienced, only to find something even better where you were more satisfied and more happy that came your way. Or a great heartbreak that you felt like you would never have yourself after you lost a certain relationship, only to find that an even better relationship found you that helped you to grow even more. There are so many things when we look into these. The menorah breaking is like equals the light of the letter, the light that came through, bringing that wholeness. If it hadn't broken, they would never have discovered the great treasure inside. If you don't break at times in your life, you won't know the great treasure, the great strength, the great light that is within you and ready to rise. So think about it now, about a part in your life where you currently feel like you're struggling with trauma or sadness or loss, and ask the light to show you what the gift is that it has ready for you, waiting for you. The light wants you to be happy. The light wants you to succeed. The light lives within you, and it's around us all the time. When you step out of the anger, the fear, the lack, and the doubt, and you look and you see where this is created within you, and you look in and you see that where that energy is, it's creating an opportunity and an opening for you, for the light to expand within you, for the light to expand into your life, but the shell has to break for the light to come into it, to open, to be able to see it. You can skip the weeks, the months, and sometimes the years that people spend struggling and wondering, why did this happen? Why am I going through this? Why? For all of the things that can be questioned and for all of the sadnesses, and instead, look at it differently. Instead, realize that whatever it is that you feel has happened to you, there was a reason behind it. There is an opening for the light to come in, an opening for the light to enter into your soul. The light sends sparks around us everywhere, all the time. And we have the opportunity to reach out to those sparks and to ignite the flame within us and to ignite the light all around us. The light is always inviting us to step into the light and to feel the light around us. It may sometimes feel like you're standing in a fire when you first ignite that flame as things are transforming and releasing around you. But through that, you can learn how to be a pillar of the light and how to stand in the light and how to be a beacon of light for others that are going through struggles as well. We're never going through things alone. We're all in this journey together. And when you learn to stand in the light and allow yourself to be a pillar and a beacon of the light, so that light can shine to others so that they can see that they are not in the darkness either, that is where the miracles begin to occur. You can learn how to be the hero of your own story. And I really challenge you this week to work with this, to think about where you have something in your life that you feel is a struggle, something where you're feeling pain, fear, lack, doubt, judgment, worry, anxiety, and look into it and see how you can transform that as you release and allow the light to come in, allow the light to be your guide. The light is shining into you and around you and is freely available all the time. I want to wish you all a very happy Hanukkah, a wonderful holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you haven't already, please hit that share button on this video. We appreciate you here at Earth and Sky. Thank you.